Okay, so part 2. So face up now.
Jessica.
Okay, so where do we need to start? Okay, so there's a deep hidden survival pattern in there.
Looking at the rejection now?
Well, I'm just seeing what the priority is. Yeah, so this is in relation to everything from face down. So yeah, so a deep hidden survival pattern, and the throat chakra is in 3rd stage stress. So chronic fatigue of the throat chakra.
Has to do with
Base chakra. Base chakra is also in 3rd stage stress. Oh, and 8th chakra as well. It's in 2nd stage stress. Okay, so 2nd, 3rd, and 3rd. Okay. So where do we need more information? Yes, we do. Do we need some information within the immune system? The Chiron point, celestial circuit. Is it more important than the deep hidden survival pattern? Yes, it is. Okay. Is that the priority? Okay. Do we need any more information before we do the celestial circuit? No. Okay. Celestial it is. So that's the conscious and unconscious meridians, the central and governing, are either disconnected or running backwards, or, but anyway, we'll see. So firstly, is it in 1st, 2nd, or 3rd layer of stress? Hold. Okay, so it's either 1st or 3rd.
Say about hold further.
No, it was a joke. Hold. Yeah, so it's a really strong 3rd layer of stress, exhaustion of the conscious and unconscious meridians communicating.
Oh.
Which, yeah. So, okay, so is it jammed? Is it disconnected? Is it running backwards? Right. So these 2 meridians are actually running backwards. So our conscious meridian is supposed to run from the pubic bone to the chin. On the inside of the mouth, that same meridian turns into the governing meridian. It goes inside down to the tailbone. Then it becomes the governing meridian, which is the masculine doing problem-solving meridian, which runs up the spine, comes over the back of the body, goes into the roof of the mouth. And that's like a figure 8 energy. So yours has been running backwards, which means it's draining energy from your conscious brain all the time. It can be due to a lack of grounding, so sunshine, fresh air, dirt, rocks, water, nature bathing, so getting that first sunshine anytime we can. Exercise, all of that sort of stuff, which is hard when we're trying to fit in everything that we've got to do in our life. But if we don't do it, we do use up our electrical energy in our body. Anyway, we've got to clear this. So is it on the masculine side we need to work first, or the feminine? It's the masculine side. Is the center of gravity where it's supposed to be? Hold. No. Okay, so where's the center of gravity? Is it behind the body? Is it to the left, to the right? It's behind. Okay, so let's scan where it is. What is it? Straight behind the Dantien. Okay, so the Dantien is 2 bin, or 2 inches below the belly button, and it's showing me that the center of gravity is exactly where it should be, except it's behind the body. So is it in centimeters, in inches, in feet? In feet, 1, 2, 3, so about 3 feet. So it's about 3 feet behind the back of the body. So in other words, it's in the past when things were easier, and sometimes energetically the body will put us in a position where our center of gravity is somewhere it goes, no, this was the easier time. I want easy again. But it's the masculine side we need to pick up first. That's the doing, the problem solving, the energy, that sort of thing. So we need to calm this down first and pick up some masculine energy for the body. This is, of course, in the yin-yang, masculine, feminine concept, where we have masculine organs, and I'm not talking, we have masculine organs and we have feminine organs. And in Chinese medicine, it's sort of funny, you've got to love people who had a sense of humor 7,000 years ago when they developed all these sort of things. The feminine organs are the solid organs which work 100% of the time. The masculine organs are the hollow organs which work some of the time.
Same with boys and girls.
So it's just one of those things as a, you know, got to know your audience, but I always find that very amusing. So this is a nice little reboot for the celestial circuit, and then we'll see where it's at once all these pulse. The aim is to get our center of gravity back and to get that celestial circuit running in the correct direction so that electrically we're being charged every day. Okay, so let's go back and check where it's sitting. One of the little things that just helps to reboot the celestial circuit is popping the tongue on the roof of the mouth and having the hands over the base chakra, and even doing that for 3 or 4 nice, beautiful breaths helps to wake up the celestial circuit, because having the tongue on the roof of the mouth, that's accessing the governing meridian, and having our hands over the base chakra is at the beginning of the central meridian. So by doing those simultaneously with several calm breaths, allows the nervous system to go, oh, I'm not being eaten by a lion, a tiger, or a bear at this moment. How wonderful. So it just helps the body to know that it's safe and okay. So now let's see where the celestial circuit is sitting. And again, hold. Okay, so it's either balanced or in second stage stress. Hold. Okay, so it's gone from third stage stress, which was a very weak third stage stress. There wasn't a lot of energy in that exhaustion. We've gone to second stage, so now there's some oomph in it, but we still have to get it back to balanced. So what do we need? Okay, so we need a flower essence. Do we need bark, bush, bush? So second box of bush. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. Okay, so this one is a family essence. It's Boab, and Boab is for family beliefs that no longer suit us. So Bushflower Healing, and it's an old Australian bushflower essence book that he brought out about 30 years ago. Okay. So Boab, sometimes when we're kids, we see ourselves as imprints of our parents. So sometimes we see parents' behaviors and we don't want to do some things our parents do, or sometimes we do want to do sometimes, you know, those things. But usually with Boab, it's about the negative stuff that we see that we don't want to do. So sometimes there can be an imprint of our parents, as you can imagine, in our personalities and our DNA. So it sometimes can be related to those core patterns and how that impacts on us when we feel ourselves doing something like that. And here in Australia, we have a lot of Boab trees. They're really beautiful. They're out in the stark nature. Okay, so we need to pop in an affirmation here. I now release and clear all negative conditioning and family traits from my psyche. I now release and clear all negative conditioning and family traits from my psyche. Beautiful. So it just helps to engender positive personal growth. Okay. Do we need to have some of the drops now? Okay, so how many drops? Okay, so that's a full lot. Right, so there is something genetic or encoded, you know, through the mantle of mum and dad in here, because it's 7 drops. So 7 drops is something that we're basically, the whole life is experiencing something that's come through from mum, dad, genetics, inherited memories, that sort of thing. So 7 drops, David. Because this is the mother essence. When you buy flower essences from the shop, it'll usually be 3 to 7 drops as the dose, but this is a mother essence. So that tells me how long this pattern has been there. Oh, okay. So within this second stage stress of the celestial circuit, now we've got to go into the immune system. Yeah, so something to do with the rash, something to do with the itch. Something to do with what's going on the spine as well. So I'll just sort of check the immune system, and we'll sort of have a play before we go to the rest of the celestial circuit. Okay, hold, hold, hold. So in the clear, hold. The immune system saying, I'm fine, which is great. So let's just ask around histamine. Histamine. And hold, 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 hold. There's an energy mismatch to histamine. Now, histamine is a healing nutrient as well, so it's not all bad just because it makes us itchy and rashy and stuff, which is all pain in the butt, but it actually has, it's a healer as well. So it's designed to go to an area to increase blood supply so that the body can heal something or release something. So the problem is when it's happening too regularly, these mast cells are out of balance. They're throwing out too much histamine too regularly, and whatever's going on inside isn't being dealt with.
And stress can cause that?
Oh, absolutely. Well, you know, the mast cells make heparin. They make 200 chemicals. So they do a huge amount, and and it didn't show up face down, so just sort of saying that. But once it becomes mast cell activation syndrome, it can mess with menstrual cycles, it can give you anxiety, depression, and all sorts, because the histamines can build up in the brain. So histamines build up in the gut, the brain, the uterus, and the spine in girls, and gut, the brain, the testicles, and the spine in boys. So it's a big reason for lots of health challenges that people wouldn't think of histamine in relation to. Okay, so in relation to histamine, and hold, beautiful. Interesting. So let's just ask in relation to rejection. And hold, 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 hold. Yeah. So there's an energy mismatch to rejection, which means when it's felt in the body doesn't know what to do with it. And at the moment, it seems to be creating an immune reaction. So there's also something called the Moro reflex. It's a primitive reflex called a Moro reflex. I should write that down too. So basically, if the Moro reflex is overactive, it can also cause lots of allergic reactions and challenges. You know, and these days, how often does it happen? It happens a lot where kids, they're not deliberately manifesting ill health, but if they're stressed going to school, they can have nausea and vomiting and all sorts of things going on in the morning, and as soon as they're allowed to stay home, they're okay by 11 o'clock in the morning. And I don't think a lot of these kids are deliberately manifesting these things, but on the other hand, their body is manifesting it because there's something about the system that they really don't enjoy. They don't feel nurtured or cared for or loved, or they're not enjoying it for some reason. Rejection hold, beautiful. Anything else with the immune system we need? Okay, so now let's go back to the, anything else before we go back to the celestial circuit? No, okay. So now let's pop in the celestial circuit again and see where it's at. Beautiful. Okay, hold. Okay, so it's either balanced or still in second stage stress. Hold. Okay, so it's balanced. So the celestial circuit is balanced. Let's check where the Dantien is. And hold. Right, so the center of gravity is back to where it's supposed to be. Awesome. And let me just double check. So the direction of the celestial circuit is going in the correct direction. Beautiful. I'm going to check the rhomboid muscles. So the rhomboids are between the shoulder blades at the back. So hold in, David, I'm pulling the elbow up and out. Going to stack them both in. Hold in. Relates to the liver meridian. And sometimes when our liver is overworking, we can get frustrated and angry really quickly. Hold, I'm going back. That one's fine. Hold up, I'm going down. That's good. Hold, I'm going back. Hold up, I'm going down. Okay. So the liver's overworking. It's hyperactive at the moment. So when it's underactive, we tend to suppress anger and it becomes depression and anxiety and really low self-worth, self-esteem. When it's overactive, it tends to become anger and frustration. And that's linked in with an old deep pain punishment circuit. So, yeah, so basically it was telling me there was something on the spine between the shoulder blades that was just a bit too tight. The next area showing up is just either side down the bottom, either side of the thoracics where the latissimus dorsi is. Hold in for me, don't let me pull out. Okay.
Is that a hold?
No, hold in. No. Not a chance. So this is the spleen meridian pancreas organ. And again, depending on where our diet is, you know, so this one can unlock even within a few hours of quite a carby meal. The spleen is very much involved in the immune system, very involved in, you know, histamine stuff and allergies and that sort of thing. There's a particular probiotic that I'll check later on called LGG. LGG is a strain that helps to regrow the villi in the intestines. And sometimes when we're getting rashes, it's because the poor old gut's inflamed as well. There's nearly always a gut issue. If you've got a rash on the outside of the body, gut always has to be looked at from a naturopathic or functional medicine perspective. And sometimes if those villi have been destroyed because of, many things destroy the villi in the intestines. Every time we have antibiotics, for example, it nips the top off our little villi and it suppresses mucus to the lower lobes, which then become really thick like concrete. So bit by bit after every round of antibiotics, we end up with lower and lower and lower, nipped off little villi in the intestines, which means, and it hardens like plaque. So then our poor little bodies just have less enzyme function, less ability to break down food. So we end up with more and more intolerances as we get older. Girls respond, or we recover 8 times slower to antibiotics than boys do. I don't know whether that's a testosterone thing or whether they've automatically got more muscle mass than girls. I'm not sure what it is. Anyway, so let's go and have a look at that latissimus dorsi again. Hold in for me. That's better. Hold in. Beautiful. And of course, actually, both of those muscle groups, just thinking about computer work, the one between the shoulder blades, it's so easy for our shoulders to come forward and those rhomboids are trying to hold everything together at the back. So again, doing stretches, where we have that sort of angle with our elbows and then pulling our elbows back, that helps to bring our shoulders back and it stretches the rhomboids in there and really feels quite fabulous. And it reminds the body that it doesn't have to be so hunched forward, which is what we're doing when we're computing and doing work a lot of the time with assignments and things like that. Okay, so now so next we need to do the chiron point. Do we need to do deep hidden survival? Do we need to go into the immune system stuff? Okay, so I'll stop it there. We'll start the immune system stuff fresh, just in case you want to watch this one over and over again. I'll go make some notes so that I check everything that I want to check. And so see you in a minute.